You know, I hear a lot of talk about Joe Biden. Everyone's talking about Joe Biden, how Joe Biden is the guy that could be Donald Trump. I'm not so certain that that's the truth. I know that they want that to be true. Right? They want us to believe that, for whatever reason, that Joe Biden is the person that can take down Donald Trump. I fail to see, I don't see the evidence to that being true. I don't see evidence that Joe Biden could take down anyone. Yeah, I know he talks tough about fighting Trump and doing push-ups or something that's totally irrelevant. In fact, the fact that we got Joe Biden threatening like it's a physical contest to defeat Donald Trump, to me just goes to show how lopsided we are in this country. Like, you imagine Obama talking about he would beat up Mitt Romney in a contest, or he'd smack him, or, you know, do something physical? Like, you would, no, you'd never hear that. You'd never hear. It'd be like, what are you doing? You just set black people back another 30 years talking about fighting a guy. But Joe Biden gets to do it, and it's stupid, and it's asinine, and it's dumbed down. Dude, tell me how you're going to beat Trump. Not literally beat him. How are you going to beat him, like win the office in the highest office in the country? How are you going to do that?
Democratic presidential frontrunner Joe Biden is out with a stark warning for his opponents ahead of next week's debates. He says this: if you come at me this time, I am ready to hit back. His threat comes amid yet another fight centered around race between the former vice president and Senators Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. Ed O'Keefe is in Washington with more on this story. Boy, Ed, getting feisty already. So where is this new Biden stance coming from, do you think?
Well, Gail, it's coming from an understanding that Democrats are looking most especially for the candidate they believe is best equipped to defeat the president. And doing so likely requires a strong debate performance. So Biden knows he's got to step up his game at next week's debate.
Wall Street did not build this country. Middle-class people and access to the middle class built it.
Former Vice President Joe Biden and other Democrats appeared this week at conferences hosted by civil rights organizations, touting their plans to revamp the criminal justice system. But Biden also took time to defend his record on civil rights, in part by referencing President Obama.
They did a significant background check on me for months with 10 people. I doubt whether he would have picked me if there's accusations about my being wrong on civil rights was correct.
Biden's lead over the Democratic field has slipped since the first debates.
Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America?
This week, Biden was asked about a CBS News poll that identified California Senator Kamala Harris as the most strong candidate among Democratic voters.
I was probably overly polite.
In a radio interview Thursday, he also raised questions about Harris's motives at the first debate.
I thought we were friends. I mean, I hope we still will be. You know, she asked me to go to her convention and be the guy from outside of California to nominate her at her convention for the Senate seat. I did.
Biden, Harris, and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker will be front and center at a debate next Wednesday. Booker is raising doubts about Biden's new plan to revamp federal sentencing laws and drug policy, since the former VP backed tough on crime bills in the 1990s.
For a guy who helped to be an architect of mass incarceration, this is an inadequate solution.
But Biden hit back, raising questions about Booker's past record as mayor of Newark, New Jersey.
His police department was stopping and frisking people, mostly African-American men. If he wants to go back and talk about records, I'm happy to do that, but I'd rather talk about the future.
Part of what Booker and Harris are doing is trying to build their support among black voters. But our CBS News Battleground Tracker poll out this week gives Biden a double-digit lead over his rivals, for example, in the early primary state of South Carolina, driven in part by deep support for him among black voters. Tony?
All right, Ed, thank you very much.
So there you have it. There it is. You hear them, you know, the sound of everyone coming together at one time, doing their best to support Joe Biden is amazing, isn't it, what they're doing? And this is not just CBS. This was MSNBC. This is CNN. In fact, every network that I saw, any coverage of Joe Biden in the upcoming debates, it was favorable to Biden. Not a single solitary negative thing was said. I mean, the most horrible wasn't even Gwen, Oprah's friend. The most horrible was Donnie Deutsch at MSNBC. I mean, this guy, I think he's got a secret man crush on Joe Biden, the way he talks. But let's go down the points that were made here and let's refute them one by one, shall we? All right, you come at me this time. You come at me this time, and this time I'm going to hit back. You come at me this time, and this time I'm going to hit back. That sounds like something that losers say. Right? Oh, yeah. You sucker punched me and knocked all my teeth out last time, but man, this time, man, you in trouble this time. Yeah, this time, next time if you sucker punch me. Like, he's not even saying, I'm going to come get you next time. He's saying, if you come after me, I'm going to come after you. They already came after you, Joe. They already did. They already swung, Joe. You were still, look, they were up. Kamala Harris was up. She did the errands. She ran to the bank, took the kids to Little League or whatever. She mowed the grass. She changed the carburetor or she dropped an engine. She did everything. You still in bed, Joe. You're not even up out of the bed yet. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? She ate your lunch, Joe. But Joe Biden wants us to feel impressed with him saying, if you come at me again, I'm going to get you. No, Joe, they already got you. Now, the second thing was they say the most pressing issue for Democratic voters is who can beat Donald Trump. I would probably agree with that. That is probably the most pressing conversation, right? Who can beat Donald Trump? I disagree with it because you would want the right person to beat Donald Trump, right? Like, you would want someone who you would want. And I know we like to say, like, whoever it is better than Donald Trump. You know, I understand the fear people have because they watch MSNBC and CNN, they watch these networks, and they just try to scare you with how horrible Trump is. And don't get me wrong, Trump is bad in a lot of ways, but a lot of the ways that Trump is bad, he's only bad because they're talking about it. And some of the ways that he's bad, Obama was similarly bad. But no one talked about it, so you thought everything was fine. You didn't know. You didn't have any idea how bad things were because they didn't want you to know. And now they're exaggerating how bad things are. Don't get me wrong. Things are bad. Things have been bad, though. That's what people don't get. See, I hate this scenario that they paint where it's like before Trump, everything was fine. And then came Donald Trump. Yeah, you know, blacks and whites and Latinos and Asians and Native Americans were holding hands, skipping through the dandelions, picking up free money off the ground, you know, getting new sets of keys. Somebody was walking up, giving out cars. You get a car, and you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Racial equality for you and for you and for you and for you. And no mass incarceration for anybody. You know, like this angelic Oprah from little Oprah Sprite was floating through the air giving wishes. But no, that's not the truth. That's not what was happening. It's never been the way they painted it to be. It wasn't a beautiful thing. Kids were dying. Black people were getting locked up like hotcakes. Undocumented people were getting kicked out of the country. They didn't care. No one cared. Leave. That's what was happening under Obama. So this fallacy that everything was fine is just that, a fallacy. It's an illusion. It's not true. We were at war even more places than we are now. No, we're about, I think we just added one. Okay, but money was still going to spent on regime change wars and wars we don't even need to be in that could be directed here in this country that aren't. And they talk about, you know, well, what is Biden doing? What is Biden doing when he went to the NAACP? We're going to talk a little bit about that later because we got a speech from Bernie Sanders at this NAACP convention in Detroit that just went past. I think it was the 24th. As they get in preparation, they're in Detroit in preparation for the debates that are coming up next week. So don't forget that, Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, they say that Biden has recovered or Biden's doing well because, well, Biden's doing more of the clothing himself in the love for Obama. Hey, he's just more name dropping. That's it. Name drop, name drop, name drop. People like, who's this guy? Why are we listening? Oh, that's right. He's Obama's friend. That's right. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, sit down, have a seat. Cool, fine. That's all he's doing. He's not doing anything. I have yet to hear of these great ideas that Biden has. All I hear is, I'm not Trump, and Obama's my buddy. That's really not a campaign slogan that's going to inspire a lot of people, I don't think. In fact, I think that Biden has the most pressure on him. He's going to go into these debates, and we know one thing. We know that he must perform well. Because even though I like to say that our media is, slanted and biased, and it is, I don't say it to be funny. I don't say it to just pick on corporate media. I say it because it's true. But the thing they're really slanted on is corporation or corporate profits. They want to make money. So they're really playing this up like this is a boxing match. Because that's going to put butts in the seats, frankly. Biden says he won't be overly polite. He says that was the biggest problem. That's why he didn't perform well, is because he was being overly polite. It was not him that was slow. It was just that he was being polite. And to that I say, overly polite. How about sleeping? How about unprepared? Yeah, that's a better word for it. I think that's a more accurate description of what happened to Joe Biden in the first debate. He was unprepared. How about come ready to fight? How about come ready for someone to challenge you? How about not just walking to think you're Hillary? He thinks he's Hillary Clinton. That's what it is. He thinks he's Hillary Clinton. He thinks, and you saw what it got her. She came in, she thought, I'll just get coronated. Everyone will bow out. I'm Hillary. Here goes Biden. Hey, everyone's going to bow out. I'm Biden. And he didn't bow out, and then he got hurt. What's going on here? So remind me of the skit with Richard Pryor when he was learning how to box. He was punching the puncher bag. He was doing a good job, but when he got in the ring, first thing he noticed was that he's sparring against a real person. And real people move. Yeah, bags stand still. Bags are stationary. People move. And that's what Joe Biden was faced with. So they say Biden, Harris, Booker, Biden, Harris, Booker. That's what they're looking at. Here's the deal, man. The black community, the black vote is what you need to win the Democratic nomination. Can't get the black vote, you will not win the Democratic nomination. It's that simple. Can't get the black vote, you will not win the presidency. Black people must be lied to. Convinced. We must be convinced that you are good for us. And I know we got a lot of people that make this out to be like an easy thing to do. It's not really that easy to do. It's not that easy to convince them. But one way you do it is you drape yourself in Obama and hope for the best. That's Biden's plan. Not directly to speak to issues as much as it is to just give lip service. Hopefully, enough black folks realize that that's not enough, and we demand more from my candidates. But Biden wants to hold on to the black vote. Booker realizes he must go after the black vote, or he's wasting his time. Harris realizes she must go after the black vote, or she's wasting her time. I do not like. Well, it's not about liking. I do not support any of those three candidates. I'm upfront and honest about that. I don't support Biden. I don't support Cory Booker. I don't support Kamala Harris. These are not my preferred candidates. Not by a long shot, okay? But I recognize reality of what's going on here. It's political gamesmanship, which Biden is very familiar with. I like Joe Biden bringing up Cory Booker's past. I like it. Talk about the record. Explore the record. I don't like this idea where people act as if you're not supposed to bring up people's past. I don't want to hear what you did in grade school. I don't want to hear what you did in high school, unless you killed someone or raped someone. But I do want to hear about your record. What are we supposed to judge you on exactly if we're not going to judge you on your past record? Your future record? Like, none of us can see into the future. So the only way we can judge a person is by what they've done. I hate this stupid idea that it's wrong or divisive to bring up people's records. I don't care if it was 10 years ago or 40 years ago. It's your record. What do we say here, Wolfpack? Hey, if you can't run on your record, maybe you shouldn't run. And that goes for Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden. And look, I am consistent. I may be mean, but I'm meaningful. And I may be constantly punching, but I'm also very consistent. I did not blink an eye, bat an eye, nor did I shed a tear for Joe Biden getting called out by Kamala Harris because, good. Call out more stuff. Neither will I bat an eye, shed a tear about Cory Booker being called out about stop and frisk. I didn't even know about stop and frisk and Cory Booker. Please tell us more, kind sir. Same thing goes for Kamala Harris. Look, I'm here chomping at the bit. I can't wait to hear more about Kamala Harris. See, I already know about her record, though, because I've done my due diligence. What I want is for the rest of the world, particularly when I say the world, I want the rest of the black community to know about Kamala Harris's record. I want them to really know that it has nothing to do with her husband, has nothing to do with who she married, has nothing to do with her father being from Jamaica and her mother being from India. That has nothing to do with the problems that I have with Kamala Harris. It has to do with her record of siding with banks that foreclosed illegally on poor people's homes, of building up the prison industrial complex to the breaking point, and being basically a two-faced liar when it came to being a progressive attorney general. I want the world to know. So last but not least, the black support in the black support is what they're fighting over. And as I stated, Joe Biden, he's that or he's done. They talk about Joe Biden. If Joe Biden was to lose the black support, he's toast. Now, what's needed for anybody, and when I say anybody, I mean Bernie Sanders, to start chipping away even further at Joe Biden's black support base is to have more truth about Joe Biden come out. I understand. Bernie can't do it. I get it. And I understand. If, I don't know, you can't have neither turn to do it all, but I know somebody who could do it, who could speak to Joe Biden about his issues, would have no problem calling him out every day. 7 days a week, twice on Sundays. His name is Black. He got a black bald head. He got a black microphone. He got a black wife, some black kids, and live in a black town. Holla at your boy. I'll call him out, and it wouldn't cost you nothing except a plane ticket. I go down to South Carolina and let those black people know that Joe Biden is not the answer. He's part of the problem. It has been so part of the problem for a long time. All right. Now, oh, man, we're going to get after it tonight. 319-527-6212. Couple more stories, though. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. All right. That was a little long. See, I can make this one a little bit shorter. This one is Bernie Sanders. And this is a volatile topic, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that people have been talking about. We talked about it for a while. We kind of got off it. I think that some people try to overcorrect for it. And yes, it's Bernie Sanders and the subject of reparations. And I was one of those people that said Bernie must do a better job of communicating the issues that affect the black community. And I also pointed out that if he wants to win, it's not just up to me, it's up to him being able to articulate that he understands, that he has a plan. I just told you that in order for any candidate to win the Democratic nomination, they gotta get a sizable amount of the black vote. And if you want to win the presidency, you gotta get the black vote. That's just how America's built. You don't like it. You want to pretend that slavery is not an issue, that discrimination and racism isn't an issue. Well, you haven't been paying attention to the data or what's going on in the black community. Or maybe you just don't give a shit and you just want to build up your followers with Trump supporters. And yes, I'm talking to those people that call themselves progressive who think it's okay to denigrate or to degrade and minimize racism and its effect, systemic racism. Not some weird white lady pissed off in a Walmart parking lot using the N-word. Yeah, I don't like her either. I think she's a horrible human being. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about discrimination on the job. I'm talking about black folks not getting called back for jobs even when we have the same background as you. Just because we got a black name. Guess you left that part out in your diatribe. I'm talking about health care. Disproportionately not getting the same health care from doctors. Why is that? Why? How would that happen? Oh, the doctors don't treat us the same. We can go on and on with these issues. And I was on Bernie. I say, Bernie Sanders, I support him, but he got to do a better job. So here goes Bernie Sanders doing a better job. I said, doing a better job. See, this is the thing. It's not just about supporting our candidates. It's about making our candidates better candidates. And that's not your job, maybe, but it's damn sure my job, because I'm not just in this to be, I can't just be you. I have to use my platform to push candidates in the direction I think they should go. So here goes Bernie Sanders once again in Detroit at the NAACP convention, talking about black issues and doing so much better than he did just a couple months ago.
Senator Sanders, you are not a supporter of reparations for descendants of African slaves. History shows General Sherman promised slaves 40 acres and a mule. Then President Abraham Lincoln supported the military order, yet it is a promise that was not kept. Knowing this, how do you correct this wrong, or do you think you have to?
Well, I support what Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina has talked about, and that is the 10-20-30 legislation, which recognizes that as a result of the legacy of slavery, we have massive levels of poverty, too much unemployment, not enough educational opportunity, and communities that are polluted and our kids are getting sick. So what we are talking about is putting a massive amount of money into distressed communities, often African American and Latino communities, so that we end the absurdity of the kinds of inequities that currently exist. Here's my fear about reparations, and I understand the issue, and I'm on board the legislation that will study the issue. Here is my fear. The Congress gives African American community $20,000 check and say, thank you, that took care of slavery. We don't have to worry about anything more. I think that's wrong. I want to rebuild the distressed communities in America.
Thank you for that explanation.
What I like about what Bernie Sanders said here is that even if you disagree with him, at least he has an explanation for you. I said, even if you disagree with him, you think, hey, what's this about? You gave money to these people. You signed a bill to give money to these people. And you did this and you did that. Okay, I hear you. But he did give you an explanation. See, my thing is, have something to stand on when you're questioned. I can't control what you're going to say or what your beliefs are, but now I can make a judgment based on what you said. And I believe that America would really like to just put this issue behind them, and they would like say, here goes a check, now go away, and we're going to cut all these social services that a lot of black people rely on because we gave you $20,000. I hope that that solves all of your problems because we're done with this conversation. And I can see America doing that. Now, I know it won't play well with everyone. There are some of us who will be like, hey, give me my money. Give me some money. But I really don't think $20,000. I know that's just, I don't know where you got the $20,000 figure. But $20,000 does not go as far as you think it goes. And it definitely is just a slap in the face, a drop in the bucket. Anywhere near the compensation that should be given for generations worth of lack of ability to pursue like your own self-determination, to self-actualize, to say, hey, I want to do this thing. I'm going to go do it. Like to not have that for generation after generation, that's even fathoming that in itself, I don't understand these people that try to minimize this. No, servants didn't look and say, well, you know what? 4 and 5 generations of my lineage are all going to be slaves too. Indentured servants didn't. Indentured servant was looking to get out when they paid their debt. Slaves never paid their debt. There was no debt to pay. You were owned like a bookcase, like a horse. That's it. So I'm really, trying my best to stay on point here with this. So anyway, back to Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders. I like the fact that you're articulating this better. In fact, I've heard him even do this is not even the best that I've seen him do on this issue, but the fact he's hitting it head on. He's addressing it head on. He's saying, okay, this is the vision, the 10-20-30 rule, this legislation, which will focus on poverty, unemployment, education for distressed communities. I can work with that. On top of also, one of the main pillars that we're looking for is Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage or livable wage, which would be more along the lines of what I want, because $15 an hour don't go the same distance in California as it does maybe in Alabama. One place you live in a tent city. Another place you live in a nice house. So $15 an hour is not the same everywhere. So a livable wage, which is adjustable based on the location, matters. But once again, I like that Bernie is getting better and stronger on these issues, because it's not just because I'm Tim Black and I'm the black guy. Yes, I'm Tim Black and I'm the black guy. But also because he does not have a chance. You think you're helping him by dumping on me and dumping on the black community. You're not helping him, doofus. You're sinking him. Because if he doesn't get a large portion of the black vote, there is no Bernie Sanders. He does not have a shot unless he can get a large portion of the black vote. You need to be applauding me and listening instead of getting self-righteous or getting butthurt, okay? And wanting to argue this issue back and forth about like who's headed the worst in life, the Irish or the blacks. Ireland, they have their own country, man. So I don't even know where you are. Anyway. All right, next story. These people are crazy. I don't know what's wrong with them. Good job, Bernie Sanders. Please keep it up. Nina Turner, please, you guys. Brianna, David, the whole crew. Farik, guys, keep it up. Keep it up. And call me. All right, next story. Now, this one I came across with a friend on Twitter. Kamala Harris is a cop. You might know the Twitter account. Kamala Harris is a cop. Well, she tweets out the funniest stuff, but it's on point though. I like her humor. She's straight. She's a straight shooter. She don't play around. She calls them out. She has receipts. She's not afraid to give you the receipts and also to give you shade. I love it. So she tweeted out this thing about Kathy Griffin. And, Kathy Griffin, she's got a movie that she's working on. I think it's a movie, or is it a play? I don't know. Looks like a movie. Could be a play. I don't know. Some type of demonstration, right? Well, she's talking about her life in comedy and all the uphill battles and stuff like that. So we all know she made headlines because she got in a big scuffle with Donald Trump. It was a very public thing, and it didn't go so well for her in the end. She couldn't find work. We had to listen to her cry. Anyway, she's back with a movie, and she's talking. This was an interview clip. This is her talking about Bernie Sanders and the notorious Bernie Bros, and you are not going to like it.
It makes me sad, and I'm just going to say it, that Bernie and Joe are polling so much higher than these women. And I know that, dog whistle. I know, my little ears prick up. I know what that is. It's even women who are afraid to vote for women.
I've heard plenty of women say.
How about these white that voted for Trump? Yeah. I can't even talk to white anymore.
I've heard liberal women say, like, I just don't think a woman could beat Trump.
I've heard women say, what if she's on her period?
Yeah.
I mean, in this day and age. So
I don't buy that at all, but
I hear
that.
You.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, and Bernie, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe Bernie's ever passed a bill. And I don't like the Bernie Bros. I'm sorry. They're like Trumpers. They come at me and they threaten me in the same way. And I don't like that base. I don't like, and I don't trust.
And somebody, man, for somebody who's been so successful in their career, every time I hear Kathy Griffin, she's always complaining about something. And she's a big complainer, man. Nothing is, everybody, just nothing but complaining. Here she's complaining because she says Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are polling higher than Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren. She makes that seem like that's a sexist thing that, Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren aren't polling better. Maybe they're not polling better because, well, Joe Biden was a former vice president to the first black president. Hey, Kathy, maybe that has something to do with it, that everyone knows who Joe Biden is. Not everyone knows who Kamala Harris is. You ever think maybe that has something to do with it? And maybe also Bernie's polling better than Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris because he just ran for president in 2016. Like, maybe they know his name. Like, this just goes to show how bubble-fied. These people live in a bubble. They don't do any research on anything. I mean, come on, guys. These things are obvious. You can obviously find out. When you look at the polling data, if you go to for instance, you go to Gallup, you'll see there are a number of columns. Some of those columns, when people are asked, who would you vote for? There's numbers for them saying, I don't know who's this person. I don't know. No response, because they don't know who he is. Or they don't know who she is. They don't know who Amy Klobuchar is. They don't know who Andrew Yang is. They don't know who a lot of people don't know who Cory Booker is. You overestimate your knowledge about what's going on. You really don't know anything. But you have no problem sitting down and running your mouth and pissing off large amounts of people with comments like you know something. You talk as if you've done research. But then, turns out, based on what you said, it becomes very obvious to me that you don't know what you're talking about. So why are you talking? And, which leads me to my next point. You say that there are women who say they won't vote for another woman. That's anecdotal, meaning that's just based on your personal experience. How many of these women have you talked to? Yeah, I heard people say they wouldn't vote for Obama too because they didn't think Obama was truly a black guy. They thought he was an African guy. He grew up and he went to these expensive schools. He lived in Hawaii. They're like, what do you got to do with me? He got nothing to do with me. What's he got to do with me? I don't know. He went to Chicago just so he could get a black wife so he could run. I mean, people said that too. But guess what happened? He ended up winning. Like he became the first black president. There have been people who have been talking about there would never be a black president in America, and then it happened, right? So it's anecdotal, meaning it doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. People say Trump wasn't going to be president. Guess what Trump is? I know you know more than anybody else what Trump is, don't you? President. So what people say as if you talk to a lot of people doesn't mean shit, Kathy. And other guy on stage who I don't know, right? This guy doesn't mean anything. I know you really like Kathy, and she's so fabulous and marvelous. Doesn't mean you know anything. Don't know anything. She said Bernie hasn't passed the bill. Well, I would hope not, because he's in the Senate, and the Senate passes bills as a body, as a legislature. I don't know how many bills that Bernie himself has passed. None. Maybe some kidney stones, but no individual passes a bill alone. It's not how it works. Has he been a part of legislation that has passed? Yes! Yes! There has been legislation in the past in 116 Congress. In the Senate, what's the Senate number? I don't know the Senate number. That's stupid. All right, next. This is my favorite part right here. Says she can't stand the Bernie bros. They treat her just like Trump supporters. Maybe that's because you're an asshole. Yeah, maybe that's it, man. Maybe that would be it. Maybe, just maybe, you talk a lot but don't know what you're talking about, and you do so very loudly and abrasively, and you have no data to back it up. And you also don't care about real issues. See, Bernie supporters, by and large, are more educated voters who know more about policy. Like, for instance, we know that, 40% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency. See how that rolls off the tongue? I wonder if you knew that. I wonder if you know like 35, 40% of our homeless people have jobs. Did you know that? Black women are 3 times as likely to die giving birth, doing childbirth, than white women. When Obama came into office, we were at war 2 places. By the time he left, we were at war 7 places. He dropped over 226,000 bombs in his first term. Or was it his first year? Sometimes I get that mixed up. See, we know these things. We know these numbers. They just jump out. What numbers do you know? What data do you know? None. But you know it's how you feel. And you feel Bernie bros are bad people. You know what's bad people? People like you who don't care that seniors are cutting their freaking medication in half, taking half doses, which are totally ineffective or not as effective as they could be life-threatening. But that's what Obama got done with Obamacare, which ain't nothing but Romney Care, created by the Heritage Foundation. That is not what we wanted, Kathy. But since you're not on it, and nobody you know, your dad that is in 72 still working because he can't afford his medication if he quits his job. But you want to wax poetic about the good old days with Obama, not knowing anything. And then when we hear you over and over, given a platform to spew nonsense and stupidity, narratives by MSNBC, devoid of facts and data and reality, it pisses us off because we know you're wrong, but we don't get the platform to push back on you, to correct you, and you and that smug guy sitting next to you who's kissing your butt won't give us the platform to do so either. So that's part of the problem. And maybe we get tired, we get frustrated because you people in Hollywood who get this opportunity, you get a microphone, you get a platform, you could address these issues. You don't. Instead, if you're not Alyssa Milano building on and on about, we just doesn't matter what the person's about, we just need to beat Trump, is doing a disservice to all the people that you should be pushing that would fight. We need a fighter that will fight for the people, not someone to cave in and lay down for Wall Street and give them a lap dance. You have money, you have influence, you have power, you have notoriety, but you don't have heart, and you don't have understanding. And worst of all, maybe worst of all, you have a lack of interest in getting any of the above. And if ask me, I may not be the smartest person in the world, but I got a feeling that would probably be at least part of the reason why people don't like you. And also, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I would wonder if you would have did a prank of cutting off Obama's head, how people might have reacted to that. Yeah, maybe they wouldn't have saw it as so artistic either. Maybe you don't do that. I don't know. Then maybe you don't lose jobs, and we ain't got to listen to you cry for 3 years. You're still rich. You're still white. A still rich white woman in America. You doing all right. All right. Phone number 319-527-6212. Tired of you pretending like it ain't better to be a white woman than it is to be anything else except a white man in America. I'm tired of it. Tired of it. All right. Or those who pass for white women. Oops. Oops. Ooh, that's a special one. It pissed me off, man. Act like she's so downtrodden, man. She is part of the 1%, acting like, oh my God, if the world is ending and people aren't treating me right. You do what you want for a living, and you live better than 99% of people on the planet, and you still cry like you are living in a shelter. Doesn't know where your next meal's coming from. And your dad is in jail for weed. And you got 3 tickets, and they want to take your car. Like you. All right. Sorry, guys. It's just, at some point, it's like, man, come on, man. Cut the shit. The Tim Black Wolfpack Gift Pack. This is the Tim Black Wolfpack Gift Pack. If you give $5 or more per month to the Tim Black Wolfpack Show, right? If you're a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack, I'm going to send you a Tim Black Wolfpack Gift Pack. Email me at tim@timblacktv.com. Send me your mailing address if you give $5 per month or if you decide to give $5 a month to the show via Patreon or YouTube or Facebook, we got a new Facebook thing, I'm going to send you a 10 Black Wolfpack gift pack. And if you already do give $5 or more per month, well, just send me your address. A mailing address, and I'll send it to you, okay? I want to thank you for being you, all right?